Okay. Come on, that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Louis B. Free Radio Show, Brain Food from the Heartland, and I am truly honored to have the author of Can We Trust AI, Dr. Rama Chellappa, on the show with me. Doc, good morning to you. Welcome.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Free. I'm very happy to join your program. Thanks for having me on your program.
It's truly an honor. I know we don't have a wealth of time. A little bit about your background, if you would.
Well, I was, born in Tamil Nadu, in southern state in India. Grew up in Chennai, which is also known as Madras, till age 21. Went to Bangalore to study in Indian Institute of Science for 2 years. Came to Purdue in 1977 to pursue my PhD in electrical engineering. After 4 years, went to USC as an assistant professor, became an associate professor. Spent 10 years at USC and 29 years at University of Maryland College Park. And I moved to Hopkins in August 2020 to pursue AI and machine learning for medicine and other engineering applications. I've been studying, working, and researching in AI and related fields for almost 4 decades. So I'm kind of enjoying the re-emergence of a new type of AI, which depends on data a lot.
When you, again, a new book, of course, available everywhere and everywhere online. Can we trust AI? Can we trust AI? So I would say, please try to buy it or order it at a local bookseller close to you or one of the chains that are in your community. But of course, everywhere online. Can we trust AI? I have to tell you, there's so many. I don't know if you can see all the pages I have turned down and my notes. So, and I know again, I've got to. So, what? How do I condense this? You've been curious about AI for a long time. I am curious because I don't have a clue how it works. I don't know where it's going. Now I have much better education since I've read your book. I'm a bit paranoid about things. I had someone, a professor, tell me a few years ago, Louis, you've got to forget about privacy. Just you've got to. Do you agree? Would you agree at this
Well,
point?
I wouldn't go that far. It is still in our hands in terms of how we control our information. The example I like to give you, Mr. Free, is that when I go to supermarket, I give my phone number. You know why? I get $1 of strawberries, $2
Yes,
of shaving cartridges.
yeah.
So I know exactly what I give up and what I'm getting. But if you just come and ask me for my phone number, I'll say, I'm sorry, I don't think you need it, right? So I have control over it. I think what happens is when we have various accounts and social media platforms and this and that, it's not clear where our information goes. And I know companies that provide us some things like maps and various platforms to communicate, they have to make some money. And the way they make money is by selling your information or what you like to buy, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to be savvy now. That's all. I think we need to read the fine print. So that's what I tell people. My grocery store knows everything I buy. Now,
Yeah.
is it loss of privacy? At some level, yes. Why should a grocery store computer know whether I'm buying this cereal? And in fact, as a joke, because of this, I don't buy candies anymore because I know my wife will know that I bought a candy and ate it there. So I do feel a little bit of unhappiness that the grocery store knows what I'm buying. Anyway, that's good though. I mean, I stopped eating candy some time ago once I figured out that she has
Good.
access to this information because she's going to give me a hard time.
Good.
Anyway, so privacy is something it is private. That's why we call it privacy. So we got to watch it and we got to be careful to whom with whom we share that information. Because if we don't do it, then the cat is out of the bag, and then we kind of complain, "Oh my God, the privacy is gone," and so forth. So yeah, we have some control over it.
One of the things that, and I've stated this numerous times on the show, I remember when this years ago, I had a friend he said, why don't you have the hello Google or hi like Alexa, whatever the things are.
Yeah,
Why don't you
yeah.
use one of those? They're so great. You can turn the light, you can do this, you can. And I said, because I don't want my phone or device that's always listening. He said, "Oh no, they're not always listening. You've got to say hello Google or something." I said, "Well, how do they know you say hello Google, and unless they're listening all the time?" He goes, "Oh my, I never thought about that." Things like it's things
Yeah.
like that, right?
Right. I did a show with Mr. Gary Whitta. He co-wrote the script for Rogue One, the Star Wars story. We had a show called Hopkins at Home. The title was AI, Imagination and Reality. He is the imagination guy. I'm the reality guy. And Gary was saying, "Oh my goodness, just casually talked at home that I want to get some new mattresses, and next day I check into my computer, I'm seeing all these
Yeah.
ads for mattresses." I said, "Yes, welcome to the new world." It's that is how it's going to be. Some people think it's convenient. For example, when you see a movie and then recommender system say, hey, there are other movies like this you may like, which we may not know, and we may say, yeah, that's a good idea, but then we don't know which is good and which is not good, right? So if we are concerned about privacy, we can control it. We can be a little bit careful and see what information gets out. That's what I tell my friends and relatives.
What was at what point did you say that I have to write this book, or need to, or I want to write this? I'm going to write this book. How about Can We Trust AI, Professor?
Yeah, because my first course I did in AI was in spring 1978, and I took another course in spring 79. And I've been working in a special area of AI, so computer vision, the kind of things you see in cars, right? Cameras, figuring out where the other cars are and things like that. So but then since 2012, AI has again become like a big thing and everybody is concerned about it and so on. Some of the concerns are real and we should pay attention to it. All technologies, Mr. Free, have some issues. We need to continue to make them better, right? So I said, let me write a book which kind of points out some of the good things AI can do. And then some issues that we should be careful about and which technologists are continuing to look at and improve, right? So the example I give is Boeing 737 Max, right? Boeing is the best company in the world building aircrafts, but there was some issue with that aircraft. But then what did they do? They stopped it from being used, fixed it. I just flew in one couple of weeks ago. I was not worried at all, right? So that's what happens with technology. So we don't want to get overly worried and then kind of kill the technology before we can really see what good it can do. So that's what I tell people. Let us be cautious. I always say that's why when people say, what is your answer for can we trust AI with a question mark? I say qualified yes. I'm not going to say, yeah, just go for it everywhere. No, let's use it where it helps us, but let's also watch it. And if it has issues, let's fix it because it's an algorithm. We can always fix the bugs in algorithm. Don't we still get patches from Microsoft and Apple saying, hey, you got to
Sure.
upload,
Yeah. Yeah. You got it.
upgrade?
Yeah.
Why?
It
If
works.
they had everything done in the first way, like in 1985, whatever, then there's no need to have any patches. So we continuously get them. So that is an improvement. So we seem to accept that. So we should also look at AI like that. We will continue to improve it and make it work for us. And if we think it won't work for us, then we can take some actions, appropriate actions.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking with Dr. Rama Chellappa. The name of his book, Can We Trust AI? Question mark, of course. Can we trust AI? And one of the things, a couple of the things that I want to mention, Dr. Chellappa, is I wasn't sure when I started to read my copy. I'm thinking, because first I read about you and your background, and I thought, am I going to get this? Is this going to be something that I'm going to need a dictionary next to me? I still use a physical dictionary when I can. I look up words online. I like the physical dictionary. Am I going to get it? And am I going to be able to stay focused on it? Is it going to be so much that's way above me that I'm not going to get it? I love how you wrote it because obviously you're an extremely bright guy, that you wrote it in a way that I hate to say average reader, regular reader, people that want to read it are going to understand it. And I'm grateful for that because there's
Yeah,
so many tech books, so many books about technology or articles. I just, I'm not, I'm not going to get it because I don't
yeah,
have that educational background.
yeah.
You did a
Yeah.
phenomenal job with this.
Oh, thank you. But Mr. Free, it's a team effort. My co-author Eric Nyler did a wonderful job, and he kept me focused, and also the editors at Hopkins University Press, Charles, Anna, and so on. They spent so much time. I have sent them too many emails, lots of emails, and I told them, guys, you are making me look much better than I am. I'm so
Right.
grateful to you because this is been a very nice experience for me to working with all of these who have become good friends. My co-author Eric and Anna and editor Charles and so on, and I'm happy that you like the book because the credit goes to them as much as it goes to me. We equally share the credit, the thing, because it is a good technology that people are afraid, concerned, worried. So it'll be good that if it reaches a large segment of the population.
And again, I love it. You are a very nice and modest guy. You are. I mean, you're giving the credit. You want to get the credit, spread the credit around. And
Yeah,
I understand. I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying
yeah.
it's you're very nice. It's very nice of you.
Oh, I like to say I've been probably one of the most fortunate persons in my career. I had the best teachers, pioneers in the field at Purdue, and even before that. And one of my mentors is a founding father of computer vision. And then I have this great army of students who work with me. I've graduated 117 doctoral dissertations. Every one of them taught me. I mean, I always say, teachers, we think we teach students. Soon we realize they teach us better. So, I mean, of course, family support, is very important. So I've been very a blessed individual, and I'm grateful for that.
That's beautiful. A couple of things that you autonomous vehicles. If we have time, I want to get to
Yeah,
that.
sure.
And medical.
Please.
Some of the things with medical.
Yeah.
About some of the things that you worked on. Some of the things with Parkinson's, progression of dementia, the mobility, cognitive, mood. It's in the medical field. Of course, I had no idea that
Yeah.
AI was. Go ahead.
Yeah. The reason is, in fact, one of the earliest applications of AI was in medicine in 1970s. Somebody built a system called Mycin to kind of analyze a blood infection problem. And they had built a system using several hundred rules. If this happens, this, et cetera, et cetera. It was kind of an experiment because, it was pretty early in the game. Now, what we see is that medicine is awash with data, right? Every time we see our doctor, there's lab reports. Or if there is something that they had to do in terms of imaging, MRI, CT, X-ray, or even natural language conversations between the physician and the patient. All of this can be stored in a secure place, and AI can continuously work with it and kind of keep a watch. It's a motherly watch, I call it. So don't be afraid of AI. Think of AI as a mom who is just sitting there and kind of watching you and making sure nothing bad happens to your health, and then it can give alerts to the doctor. What we're going to see more and more is a triplet: AI, the doctor, and the patient. So far we have mostly worked with the physician, and we trust the physician. The physician has been trained. U.S. medical system trains our doctors so well. Like my two children are doctors, so I know how hard they work to become doctors, and so we trust them. Now, in addition, there is this AI that can look at data going back to the time when you were 5 years old, from your immunization time. It can kind of keep a tag, and it may remind you, Mr. Free, you probably need a booster or something like that. Doctor is a human. They have a lot of patients. They are overworked. They may not be able to do such a longitudinal study of you, but AI can. That's what it is good at. In fact, at Hopkins, we have what is known as PMAP, Precision Medicine Analytic Platform, which in a very secure way stores all of this information, and then we can run AI on that to make predictions and kind of make sure you are doing fine. So I think we have a 5-year program. I have the honor of working with two world-renowned geriatric physicians at Hopkins, Dr. Jeremy Walston, Dr. Peter Aberdeen, and numerous other folks. This is supported by National Institute of Aging. We are already 1 year into the program, and we are going to be supporting a lot of companies and other researchers who are building various kinds of algorithms and robotic systems and so forth to kind of help people with dementia, Alzheimer's,
That's
and
wonderful.
so on, or even using wearable sensors to alert you that you may fall, be careful, kind of thing. the one thing we recently are seeing, in addition to helping people with these kinds of situations, there is also a need to help caregivers who are taking care of them. I mean, that's one more
Sure.
deeper level, right? Because
Yeah.
if you have a family member, your dad, your mom, or somebody with this thing, and you have to take care of them, you are not trained on this. So how do we help the caregiver so that they don't
Wonderful.
get burnout and they get care and so forth? So because the current AI is very good at mining data, and so it can keep track of these things.
That's fantastic. I know you've got to go in a minute. But I know we don't have time to talk about the autonomous vehicles, but
No, I think we can take a few more minutes if you like. That's fine.
that's entirely up to you, Doc.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to.
No, that is fine. I have time. My next thing is at 9:35. So
Oh, oh, yay! I'm
yeah,
trying. I'm thinking. I'm not kidding. And it's like 10% of my questions asked. So let's talk about it. Talk about it if you would. It's one of the things that, especially what I've said is, I never like initially. I'm an old guy. Didn't understand the idea, was unsure of the technology, etc. The more I see and young people, so and not so young people with their phones, texting all the time, looking down at their phone. I see it when I'm driving. I'll see people. I'll go
yeah,
by someone. They're literally looking
yeah,
down, not
yeah,
not up and down. They're looking down. So as I see that, people that are either unwilling or unable to stop looking at their phone, with all the PSAs, all the information, don't text and drive, etc. People do it.
yeah,
That's one of the things that I am so hopeful for the increase of technology in autonomous vehicles. I'm going on and on. What are
yeah.
your thoughts, Doc?
Oh, yeah. I think, the fully automated vehicle is a great technology goal. But I tell people that even 80% of that is good, because even now, inexpensive cars have alerts. It says there is a car on your left side, right
Yes,
side with
yes.
a red
I
triangle.
have a
So you
friend that,
won't
yeah,
just, blind spot is great
yeah.
now. So sometimes elderly people cannot turn their neck that much to see over the
Mm.
shoulders, kind of a thing that we are taught. So this is good. And the car also will tell you if you're about to hit the car in front of you. Some cars may even slow you down. And there are cars that if you go change lane without giving the turn signal, it will bring you back to your lane. I have actually
Wow.
played
Yeah,
with that. There is an
yeah.
Infinity car a few years ago. So I used to do that, text driving. I was kind of doing that. So all of these are great advances, and I think they will increase safety, reduce the number of accidents, reduce the number of deaths on our highways, and so on. You are correct that young people, not only young people, I mean, everybody is kind of used to this texting. The moment they see a ding sound in their iPhone, they got to look at it. No, they can look at it when they stop, but that is just the nature. I see people holding the cell phone on the one hand and they're going like that, right,
Oh,
with one hand. And you don't have the same maneuverability when you just, drive a car with, one hand and so on. In fact, this is where something can be done, because these cars can kind of, make sure that the safety is increased, because some of these distractions that we are seeing now. I completely agree. And I think, this is we have come a long way. In fact, I have a car I bought in 2009 that has a small rear view camera in my rear view mirror, and it was considered a wow at that time. From 2014 onwards, we have this. We like having a big TV in your car. The
yeah.
panels are great, the colors are great, and even though I know how to get to Hopkins every day from my home, I still put the Google map. I
I
still
see.
watch the map. It warns me about potential traffic. So nothing is surprising. It tells me, you can see the color. Suddenly there is orange. So, some slowing down is happening. So you're prepared for it. And then some red. And it tells you how many minutes so you don't get annoyed. So right, sometimes, people get a little upset if there is a lot of traffic jam. So all of these are very useful. I consider these as a benign phase of AI. Okay, computer vision is part of AI. So people can see it can help us. It can improve our living, conditions. So one can think of similar things in other domains of our life.
And obviously things are progressing at a rapid rate.
Yes, yes. For example, AI can be very useful as a dedicated teacher. Years ago, somebody asked me, what is my moonshot? I said, one physical teacher and 30 AI teachers in class. The AI teacher will kind of keep track of how I do my math and my English and everything, and come up with helpful tools and
Makes sense.
suggestions and so forth. That is possible because a teacher, when they have 30 students, they can, handle the middle 20, the top 5, and the other 5 who are kind of struggling don't get as much attention, whereas AI can kind of take a look at it and be another teacher assistant. So in medicine, in addition to physician assistant, it will be another software assistant helping the physician, go through their daily responsibilities more efficiently and so on. So this is a technology. People think it is new. People say, oh, AI just a few years.
Yes.
I said, no.
Yeah.
1956, when we had a summer workshop in Dartmouth, it all started. If it were a human being, it is ready to collect its social security check and go on Medicare, right?
You
It's
got
like
a great sense of humor.
66
That's
years now, from 56
that's
to 2022. So it is not, it's just that it has a third bout of energy since 2012 because we are using a lot more data.
that was one of the things, Dr. Rama Chellappa, that I found the whole book fascinating, but I had no idea it went back that far. And you do write about the history, which
Yeah.
is again just another one of many reasons to read. Can we trust AI? Can we trust AI? Dr. Rama Chellappa's book. If you're okay, just a couple. And again, I'm
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
very open questions. Facial recognition, which is something that again, my being an old hippie paranoid, it's like facial recognition. What if they get it wrong? That's really advanced. Reading about that in your book.
Yeah, I think it has advanced because now we are able to, the people are building systems that can train on, millions of faces and so forth. It is a useful technology in medicine. Facial analytics is used for phenotyping stroke victims,
Yeah.
for detecting autism in young children, or for monitoring the dementia conditions. And because face does express our inner self in some sense, right? We know if somebody is happy. In fact, a critical care person, a doctor who I work with, says whenever he enters a room with a patient, looks at the face and says, something is not right. So what does that mean? Something is not right. The doctor thinks, looking at a face of a person who is having some illness. And so whether AI can be able to tune to detect those kinds of subtle variations in facial expressions and so on. Of course, face recognition is also used in forensics, in other applications. We have to be mindful of how it is being used. We have to train the end users who are using it, so that you don't want an innocent person to be troubled because an algorithm made an error. All algorithms, not I shouldn't say not all algorithms, will make mistakes. There is no perfect algorithm, especially AI as it is currently being trained using data. If you are not careful how we train it, it will make mistake. It is like you teach a child a wrong thing, and then you say, oh my God, this child didn't grow up well. So that's not right. So it's the same thing. In fact, Alan Turing, the famous person that you see in the imitation game, says in his paper, intelligent machines hopefully can learn like children do, because how children observe, children learn things. And so what I'm saying is, if you teach a child the wrong things and then say, oh, this child didn't grow up properly, I don't think we can blame the child. So AI has to be taught, trained properly. Once you do that, I mean, of course, we are still figuring out how to do like that at every application. And as I said, the data driven paradigm is only 10 years old now in AI. So I think it is getting better. We have methods for reducing bias in face recognition, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better.
Obviously, some of the projects that you're working on are absolutely tremendous. I do want to say the glossary. I love that you put a glossary in. Again, I love exploring words and looking up words, be it
Yeah,
online or a physical dictionary. But I found that for myself, I would refer to it. I found that very, very helpful that it's there, that I didn't have to go elsewhere. Again,
yeah,
as I was saying earlier, you wrote it for everyone, and very,
yeah,
very much understandable for that. And I appreciate that. And all your notes. Wow. The notes.
yeah,
That's one of the things I learned decades ago with doing finding out some books did not have notes, and one author I asked 20 years ago or 20 plus
Yeah.
years ago, can you tell me where this, and got kind of indignant, got upset, and then hung up on me because I wasn't saying it in a bad way. I was just curious where that
Yeah.
the reference for, I don't want to
Yeah,
go on
yeah, yeah.
about it. I
You know,
love it,
when
but that,
yeah, when we write technical papers, we provide references. The notes were produced by Eric, my co-author. He spent enormous amount of time, and he is now working at Wall Street Journal as a science reporter.
oh,
And I learned. In fact, I told Eric, you have inspired me to write more books
yeah,
about non-technical things. After all, I'm 69 years old, as you know. In our age group we have a lot of experiences of various kinds, and if we have time we may write and so forth, but so I'm very inspired by how Eric worked on this, of course, along with editors at Hopkins University Press and so on. So
sure.
yeah, the notes were his idea, and it's very
That's great.
carefully researched and written.
See
Yes.
that. Dr. Chalaba, you say maybe writing more now that the non-technical, that I can't just gloss over that. What do you, is that serious, or are you joking?
Yeah, I don't know. No, no, no. I mean, I still have a lot of research grants, and I have 19 PhD students and so on. So, we always want to write of things, I mean, what we observe and so forth. Yeah, I would like to write, if I have time, how when I came in 1977 to this country, we didn't have internet. We didn't have anything. All I knew was Voice of America and some Western movies. you know, uh, so that's all we knew. Right. So we came, and then, the first night I spent in my friend's house in West Lafayette, Indiana. I wake up, all wooden houses, very few people on the road, cars everywhere. I said, "Oh my God, where am I now?" So, it's a great and think what happens, Mr. Free, is that you come as an immigrant, and there is this process, slow process of becoming an American. And I think that's only people in my situation can appreciate, right? I mean, we come from different backgrounds. We assimilate, and then we see what a great privilege to live in a democratic country. I always say I was happy to be born and raised in a democratic country like India, and I come here and I'm living, and I'm going to be whatever, whenever I'm done here, I'm going to be in a democratic country. It's a great feeling. I can breathe free, and I can think free. I can talk free, and it's such a good, blessed living. And I like to write about that in terms of the Americanization of a person. How does that happen? And
That would
yeah,
be wonderful. I hate to say, especially now, at any time, that would be book.
yeah,
We need that book.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
we need that book.
when the thing is, I like to say I've read books about the 1790s and so on. A few books, not every book. And people, our founding, fathers, they were extremely. I mean, they were human beings, so
Sure.
they had their flaws or whatever. But at the time, everywhere there was kings and monarchs and so forth, and they found a system where the power comes from the people. I mean, we the people is, it looks like three words, but these are the strongest three words that you can
Beautiful.
have, right? So I said that is a beautiful thing, and Indian Constitution is pretty much modeled after U.S. Constitution. It's of course a parliamentary system because Britain ruled us for 300 years, etc. So I think it's all wonderful. So
That would be
I like to write, but
fantastic.
I don't know if I have the skills to. I mean, I can easily express myself, and whether I can put it in words is a totally different story.
If you don't mind my quick assessment, that what you just said would show to me, and I'm sure many listeners now, that you've got the words, you've got the ability to do it. You just did it. I
Thank you.
dare say,
Thank
Dr. Slopper, you just did it. And that is a book that we need. It would be very timely also, and help people understand. I also loved your dedication, by the way, to your wife and your kids, was beautiful, but all the acknowledgments, pages of acknowledgments, which showed me
Yeah.
your
Oh yeah.
generosity of heart. I
Oh
love the book. Go ahead.
yeah. Thank you. Oh, my teachers, my family, my parents, my brothers, my friends, colleagues. I think they all figured out that I really need help. So they helped me
And
throughout
you've got
my
a great
life.
sense of humor.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
You've got
That's the only reason I think it can be that they took one good look at me and said, "Oh, this kid needs help."
this kid.
So they all gave, and my teachers were absolutely fantastic. Professor Asriel Rosenfeld,
And I'm
a great man. I know if you learn from a great person, something stays with you. I mean, it has to, right? So that's what I think. I had great teachers and
my
wonderful students.
my guess, my now I don't even think I need to guess. I'm certain that your students would say the same about you,
I
and
hope so.
your students plus we people like myself that have read the book and appreciate the book and have been educated by the book. That book, Can We Trust AI? Dr. Rama Chellappa. I'd love to continue a discussion with you. Please do that book. Please
Yeah.
do that book.
Thank you so much, Mr. Free. Have a great day. I enjoyed our conversations. Again, thanks for having me on your show.
My honor, my honor. Folks, again, I would highly recommend this book. The book is